How's it going, everyone? Welcome into the Super Bowl edition of the Goal Line Stand podcast brought to you by the Ledge Sports. I'm joined as always by Cole Little. What's going on, Cole?
What's up, man? Just ready for the Super Bowl. Should be an exciting one for sure. Two great offenses. Two teams playing better than anybody else over the past month or so. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we have the two best teams in the NFL playing this in this Super Bowl. It's been definitely a down year for the league just overall. So I'm glad we actually have a good Super Bowl matchup to look forward to because a lot of these playoff games have been blowouts. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. As a Patriots fan, obviously, we get here a lot, but we don't usually see a team that can challenge us. And I actually believe the Atlanta Falcons can challenge us. So it doesn't really make me nervous. It actually makes me excited that we're going to get the challenge kind of we've been looking for all season. Before the playoffs started, we did a quick podcast. I had the Falcons playing the Patriots. I just saw the Falcons playing hot all season. I made a lot of money off gambling on them, especially when they're on the road. They were a really undervalued team. And you had the Patriots-Cowboys, which would be the perfect matchup for the NFL. Ratings bonanza. Probably two of the hottest teams in the NFL, two of the best records. Both teams kind of had different roads to the Super Bowl. Patriots kind of waltzed in. Weak AFC, beat Pittsburgh, and Houston had a little trouble with Houston, but nothing too worrisome. Atlanta obviously had a tougher road. They at least had home field advantage, so they got rid of Seattle, who's probably been the best team in the NFC over the past 5 to 6 years. Then they got Green Bay, who knocked off Dallas, and they really beat the Packers to a pulp, even with the way Aaron Rodgers was playing. That was a really impressive win for the Falcons. Again, I'm not sure if the Falcons have the experience to win this game. Who do you have winning, and what reasoning do you give behind that for this Super Bowl?
Well, like I said, I think it will be a lot of offense. I expect it to be fairly close. I think Brady and Ryan will both play really well, kind of tit for tat. But I think in the end, the Patriots will eke it out. To be honest, I've thought it would be the Patriots ever since Brady's suspension was handed down. It was made official that he would indeed be suspended for 4 games. Because, we know, I don't have to go into details. We know, what that means to him, that sense of validation he can earn by winning a Super Bowl and, having Goodell have to shake his hand, hand him the trophy and whatnot. But, other than that, the Patriots have been great all year, even without Brady. They had the one slip up against the Bills, but other than that, they were really good. Of course, Gronk out for the year really hadn't been right. It wasn't right the entire season, but you wouldn't be able to tell it. It's kind of like the Patriots of old a little bit, just kind of, bringing in random guys, just kind of a diverse core of skill players, and Brady's made it work. He's rejuvenated Martellus Bennett's career. He's made Chris Hogan into a mainstay in that offense. Of course, Blunt is quietly somehow one of the better running backs in the league. So that offense has been clicking on all cylinders basically since Brady returned. The defense has been playing well too. Defense is definitely underrated. So, I think it's in the cards for them to win. Of course, the Falcons, like you said, their road's been a lot different than the Patriots. In my opinion, the NFC was a heck of a lot stronger than the AFC this year. The Falcons, they were 11-5, but it was a hard fall 11-5. They had a tough schedule. Patriots had an easy one. But the thing about the Falcons, though, is I can't really recall. Of course, I'm not too old, but I can't really recall in my lifetime, at least, seeing a team that's just kind of flipped a switch, not necessarily flipped the switch, but taken it to an entirely new level so late in the season like they did. Because, early December or so, it still kind of looked like they were the Falcons we're used to, coming up short in big games, Matt Ryan choking at the end of big games, not quite up to that Super Bowl level. But it's just like mid-December or so, they flipped a switch, and Ryan, clearly has been playing in MVP form ever since then. It carried over into the playoffs. They've been dominant in every playoff game. There's, even if Dallas had pulled out their game against the Packers and had hosted the Falcons, based on the way the Falcons have been playing, I'm sure the Falcons would have won that one. I wasn't necessarily sure what to expect with them come playoff time because they've choked so much before with Matt Ryan, but they've been practically perfect so far, especially offensively. So yeah, I mean, like you said, it's the best possible Super Bowl matchup because it's definitely the best team in the AFC, and it's also the Falcons. As for the Falcons, the best team over the past month and a half or so. So we'll see who the best of the best is. Can't really have a complaint for whichever one wins this. They will definitely be the best of the best because this is a true Super Bowl matchup in every sense of it. And I think it'll be a good one. I think it'll be a quarterback battle, but I think the Patriots, since they've been there before, since their defense is a little more trustworthy, I think they'll man down in the fourth quarter and they'll hold on and pull out a close win.
Yeah, I mean, as a Pats fan, I actually picked the Falcons to win the Super Bowl just because I think they have the recipe that can beat the Patriots. Two things I'll look for in this game early is, can the Falcons get pressure with four guys? Can Vic Beasley, Clemson guy, get to Tom Brady? Can they get pressure inside from Hageman and their Brooks Reed? A lot of different guys. I don't think they'll blitz because if you blitz, the two things, Brady, if you play a zone, Brady kills you. If you blitz, Brady kills you. So if you can get pressure with four guys up front, that's a recipe for success. Again, even if they get pressure with four, does the Falcons secondary have enough experience? They're starting two rookie linebackers. At this point of the season, they're almost second year just from their experience, but they're starting two rookie linebackers and two rookies in their secondary. So I'm just not sure how good that defense is. They obviously shut down Aaron Rodgers. He was down to nothing. Their offensive line was terrible. So I think Brady will be able to put up points. On the Falcons' offensive side, really interested to see whether they can score touchdowns on the Patriots. The Patriots, obviously, everyone knows, has the best scoring defense in the league. Can they get the Patriots linebackers into one-on-one matchups with Tevin Coleman and Devonta Freeman? I think is big. I think the Patriots will take Julio Jones out of the game. Obviously, Belichick always takes out your best option on offense. I think Malcolm Butler is maybe one of the most underrated players in the NFL. Great coverage guy. I think he'll be able to shut down Julio Jones with some help over the top, obviously from McCourty. But if Coleman and Freeman they flex him out wide, and we have a Hightower-like guy or a McClellan-like guy on those players, I would be really nervous because one thing with the Falcons, they don't dink and dunk you down the field. They're a big play offense, and that's what scares me about the Patriots because the deep ball has always kind of plagued them, especially whether they're completing a long pass or they're getting a long pass interference penalty. Those kind of things scare Patriots fans. Again, I'm not worried about them running. I think the Patriots will be able to stuff that, but I am worried if we give Matt Ryan time, him sitting back there and just executing his game plan versus our defense, which I don't think's been tested. I mean, every sports talk show has been talking about it. We haven't played a good quarterback, probably since, maybe Roethlisberger, but he's been up and down this year. And Pittsburgh had a pretty bad game plan. I'd say the only great quarterback we played this year is Russell Wilson, and he came into Foxborough and beat our defense, threw for almost 400 yards. So, yeah, I'm actually nervous as a Patriots fan. The line to me is kind of telling. Patriots are getting 3 points. I would actually bet the Falcons in this game. I mean, that pains me to say as a Patriots fan, but I just think this is going to be a real close game, 1 or 2 point, maybe a field goal at the end. Both teams have good kickers, so I don't really see that coming down to being an issue. Why don't we do score predictions? What's your score prediction? You have the Patriots, obviously, but what do you see for a score there?
I'm sure it will be high scoring. Probably pretty even keeled throughout. As for a final score, I'll say Patriots 34, Falcons 31. Like you said, maybe comes down to a field goal, Gostkowski and Bryant. Like you said, shouldn't have any issues there. But kicking obviously has played a big role and the some of the Super Bowls of Patriots past. Adam Vinatieri, have you? But yeah, I think it. I think it'll. I'll say New England 34, Atlanta 31. I would be very surprised if either team scored less than 28. And
Yeah.
I think it'll be. I think it'll be pretty even scoring throughout. I mean, I think it'll just be a quality football game. I really don't expect, any bad turnovers. I expect kind of long drives. It may end up being even with all the scoring, it may end up being kind of a relatively fast Super Bowl. Because that's the thing about both of these teams is they've been so efficient throughout the playoffs and throughout December as well. A lot of quality drives, just driving it down other teams' throats, using up clock. Um, both teams obviously have great running games, underrated running games, and obviously the passing games are there as well. So I'll say New England 34, Atlanta 31.
Yeah, I think that's a good score. I actually think it's going to be a lower scoring game than a lot of people think. Like you said, I think both teams can keep the ball, keep the clock moving, high completion percentage offense, good running offense is both of them. I see the Falcons winning 28-24. I see the Falcons scoring with 10 to 20 seconds left on the clock, a touchdown to put them ahead of the Patriots. I'm actually really worried about this game as a Patriots fan. I think the Falcons have what it takes to beat them just from a personnel standpoint. Now, experience is two totally different things. Falcons have Dan Quinn, who, to his credit, has been in the Super Bowl before as the Seattle defensive coordinator. So he does have experience in the Super Bowl coaching the defense. Being a head coach is a little different story, but I think he'll be fine. Belichick, obviously, probably you wouldn't want any other coach coaching your team in the Super Bowl other than Bill Belichick. He's going to have a great game plan set up. That's what only gives me pause as picking the Falcons, just because I know how good Belichick will game plan. I know how good Brady usually plays in these Super Bowls. But I just look at the Falcons, and I think what they do well is what the Patriots to defend. And what the Patriots do well, the Falcons actually do pretty well on the other end. So I'm going to look at a 28-24 game. I would bet the under. Why don't we talk about storylines? Let's say the Patriots win. Brady gets his fifth Super Bowl. Belichick gets his fifth Super Bowl. How do you think this game affects Brady and Belichick's legacy? Just because they make so many Super Bowls, but even if they lost this one, it would kind of tarnish their record a little bit because they would be, they would have a almost even record coming into these Super Bowls.
Yeah, that's a really good question because one thing that we've gleaned from at least from sports media over the past handful of years is how heavily athletes are judged nowadays, and coaches too, on how they perform in championships. LeBron is a good example of that. But yeah, that's a really good question because it could really. I mean, I think it'll be a huge swing either way. I think if they win, I think if the Pats win, I don't think there's any question that Brady is the best quarterback of all time. I don't know how you could say he's not. You look at the sustained winning over the span of time that he's done it. 15 years. You look at all the different players he's played with. The suspension this year, overcoming a major knee injury. He's been through it all. I mean, 5 Super Bowls. Excluding the linebacker Charles Haley. Nobody's ever done that. No quarterback's ever done that. Of course, he had the 2 losses to the Giants. So if he does lose this one, move to 4-3 in the Super Bowl, I don't know. It would be interesting to see what type of effect it would have. I know it would probably, as sickening as this is, it would actually probably kind of hurt his I don't want to say his reputation, but how he's viewed in terms of all-time greatness, at least by sports media and by a lot of fans. It would affect it more so negatively than if he had lost in the AFC title game, I think, because that's just the way it seems to go nowadays. Everything's judged so heavily on how you perform, how athletes perform in the big one, the the big ultimate all-ending championship. So
I
it'll be
hate that.
interesting.
I
Yeah,
absolutely hate that because what do you want the
yeah,
guys to do? Not make the Super Bowl
yeah,
just
yeah,
because they won't be
yeah.
judged? Yeah.
Because I mean, that's the thing with LeBron. It would have almost been better if, like, with the Cavs and with the Heat, if before he won a few to get the media off his back, like if they had just come up short in the conference finals, because it's like coming up short in the actual finals, it brought with it more criticism. But anyway, as for Belichick, um, I mean, I'm not really sure what else he has to do. Like, I don't think there's any coach that's accomplished what he has. I mean, you look at what he's done as an executive as well as a head coach, the sustained success, really taking the Patriots to the next level. I mean, obviously, when he took over, the Patriots, were coming off somewhat recent success from when Parcells was there, but I mean, still, he practically single-handedly made them one of the all-time great franchises. I mean, in the same realm as the Packers, the Steelers, the Cowboys. So I don't think it'll affect his legacy as much. It seems like the media and fans are kinder to head coaches than they are to big-time athletes. I think generally people hate Brady more so than they hate Belichick. But I mean, if back to Brady, if he's able to win this, overcome, all the Deflategate junk, dealing with the suspension, comes back, the man's like 40 years old, and like if he had played in those first 4 games, I'm sure he would have ended up being the MVP. I mean, he's going to be, one of the top vote getters in the MVP discussion anyway, and he missed 4 games. So an incredible year capped off by a Super Bowl, and I mean, up to this point, they've been hands down the best team in football. So they have one more roadblock. But yeah, I think if the Patriots win, I really don't see I really don't see how you could possibly say that there's any quarterback ever that's been better than Tom Brady. So I mean, getting a cool even number 5, a fifth ring, I think that would be the ultimate sense of validation for Tom Brady.
Yeah, I actually agree with you on Tom Brady. I think no matter what he does in this game, I think he's the best quarterback ever. Just what he's had to deal with the turnover at his skill positions, at even defense. Their defense has been subpar the past couple of years, and he's still had them at the top of the league every year. He has always a top 10 offense. Obviously, it helps to have Belichick and McDaniel, sort of that consistency factor, but I don't think this game affects Brady too much. Belichick, I obviously love Belichick, but until he can prove he can coach without Brady, um, I'm not gonna, anoint him the best coach ever, just because I think when you have that,
Yeah,
I just think when you have that, the NFL nowadays is so much about the quarterback position. When you have one of those greats, when you have a top 5 guy, I almost think coaching comes out of it. Like, you don't even have to worry about the offense. That player can just make your offense great. I would love to see Brady retire at some point and then Belichick continue on with, Garoppolo or whoever's the next guy, and really see whether Belichick can coach the team without Brady there. I don't think, if Brady left to another team, I think he could, enhance that team. But Belichick, if Brady left Belichick, I'm not sure Belichick could keep the same sustained success. But let's talk about the Falcons. If the Falcons win, Matt Ryan's probably been the MVP this year, arguably the MVP. If he gets a Super Bowl ring, beating Belichick and Brady and this great Patriots team, he's got to go down as probably top 5 quarterback in the game right now. I think coming into the season, everyone would have him top 10, but can never get over that playoff hump. He's won 2 games in this playoffs, looked very impressive, hasn't made those interceptions that usually plague him in the playoffs. If he can win this one, I think he's well on his way with this young Falcons team. He has a myriad of weapons at his disposal. I think he really has a chance to go on and win 2 or 3 and maybe move into that sort of Drew Brees category as a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and just a leader of a great offense every year. What do you think about Matt Ryan if he wins this one?
Yeah, I like the Drew Brees comparison because Drew Brees is one of those guys that kind of early on in his career with the Chargers, he was kind of like Ryan was, great regular season quarterback. The stats were there, but maybe not a big game performer or postseason performer. And in kind of the second half of his career, he's established himself as an all-time great. So we may see the same thing with Ryan. But I mean, I still honestly can't really wrap my head around the fact that he's been able to just flip the switch and take it that entirely new level like he has. Because I mean, it's not like it's been a fluke. Like he has been spot on, practically perfect since early to mid December. When the part of the season that matters most. As for his reputation, I'll be really interesting to see what the sports talking head powers that be what they anoint him as, because like I think the thing is, like, coming into this year, since the Falcons, they had their little run a handful of years ago, when they were one of the best teams in the league, but could never really perform that well in the postseason. Then they had a couple of years where they missed out on the playoffs, just kind of looked subpar. So coming into this year, with the Panthers in that division, obviously coming off the Super Bowl berth, like there weren't really any expectations for this Falcons team for the first time in a while. And maybe that's what helped them so much. Maybe that's what helped Ryan so much, is they were kind of playing without pressure. And they definitely overachieved because I mean 11-5, because they had a really difficult schedule. It's an impressive 11-5. And Matt Ryan, yeah, going to be MVP. I mean, in some ways, the Falcons would be, in a weird way, even though they've had the best offense in football, in a weird way, they would be kind of like the unlikeliest Super Bowl winning team ever, just because there was really no hype surrounding them coming into this year. There were a lot of questions regarding some of the youth on defense and whether or not the talent was there. A lot of people felt it was built too much. That offense was built too much around Julio Jones, but clearly, it's not built too much around Julio Jones. But yeah, it's just like, gradually over the course of the year, they got better. They proved they belong, and then when it mattered most, they just became the best of the bunch in the NFC. So as for what it'll do for their reputation, I mean, I do think, Matt Ryan does seem to enter that Drew Brees mode where now he's kind of like he's figured it out. He's poised to have a great second half of his career. Obviously, Julio Jones, you can make case he's the most talented receiver in the league. Devontae Freeman, really good running back. Like, the talent's there. They got young talent on defense. They could have a team that's definitely Super Bowl competitive for the next several seasons. But this is a huge game because I mean, this is the biggest game, needless to say, of the year for the Falcons, the biggest stage. I'll still be interesting to see if Matt Ryan keeps playing like the Matt Ryan of new instead of the Matt Ryan of old. But yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, quarterback play has been so unpredictable in recent years in the NBA, in the NFL, save a few of the older guys who are always, obviously always getting it done. Brady, Roethlisberger, Breeze. But Matt Ryan could establish himself as a great, and obviously the Falcons have stuck with him. They've never wavered, and he's looked like he belongs this year. But yeah, I mean, it'll still be kind of hard to wrap my head around the fact that the Atlanta Falcons are Super Bowl champs. But we'll see. I mean, they're definitely primed to have plenty of success in the near future if Matt Ryan keeps playing like he's been.
Yeah, I actually think like usually teams like the Falcons, they make the Super Bowl and they kind of come off like they're just happy to be there. But I think this team legitimately thinks they have a chance to win, and they should. I mean, they've ran through the NFC, who everyone thought was the best two teams, Green Bay and Dallas, and they really took them to task with Seattle as well. So, yeah, I think Matt Ryan wins this game. It changes his career forever. I think he understands that. A lot of storylines. Should be a great game, as we've kind of discussed throughout. I'm really excited, too, because both teams have really great offenses. So we're not going to see, running backs get 25 to 30 carries in this game. It's going to be high flying, run and gun. Who can get to that 35-point mark first? So everything's setting up for a great Super Bowl. It's been a great week leading up to it. No real bulletin board material coming out of media day or anyways. So I think it helps the Patriots that Gronk's not there, because he always seems to make noise the week coming up to the game. But yeah, I think it sets up to be a great Super Bowl, coming from kind of a disappointing season. So I hope this game is close. I hope it's a good game, and I hope the Patriots win. But I am picking the Falcons. You are picking the Patriots, and now it's just time to stuff our faces on Sunday night and watch the game.
For sure. Like you said, a satisfying end to kind of a dissatisfying, unsatisfying season, because this is the best possible Super Bowl matchup. So I'm definitely excited to see what it has in store for us.
Yeah, great. Cole, thanks for joining me all season on the Goal Line Stand. We had some good podcasts, good analysis here, and look forward to starting this next season as well.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Take it easy, man.
See you, man.